for the Panthers, it's wild. They're trying to be the first team since the Tampa Bay Lightning 2022 to go to 3 straight finals. The Oilers did it in the 80s. The Islanders and Canadians went to 4 straight. The Islanders won 4 straight Stanley Cups. The Panthers, of course, the defending champions. But what gets me about this, Kate, is not only are the Panthers winning, not only are they doing it on the road, but Kate, their last 4 wins, Game 7 against Toronto and the first 3 games against Carolina, they've outscored their opposition 22-5. 22-5, Kate. That's a lot of goals.
That's a whole lot of goals. I don't know if people in Florida, J-Rod, like anticipated this dominant of a performance from the Panthers, but coming off that Game 7 against the Maple Leafs and then having to stay on the road for those first 2 games against Carolina, I thought maybe they would get one of those. I didn't expect them to get both and then follow that up with a home win in Game 3 and in the dominant fashion that they've done it. Like, Carolina just is dead in the water. They've had zero answer. This series has been uncompetitive throughout the entire 3 games, pretty much. And Florida looks like a dynasty in the making. I mean, like you mentioned, they've been to the finals last couple of seasons. They won it 2 years ago. This team is just completely outmatching Carolina. Was that like, did people in Florida, in South Florida, like expect this dominant of a performance from the Panthers?
You know, it's so funny because I always say that there's 2 Floridas. There's Miami and there's everything else. So in Miami-Dade, this is not hockey country in Miami-Dade. You know, the Panthers, they play a county above it in Broward County, and that's where Fort Lauderdale is. The arena is in Sunrise, which is, you know, a little bit inland away from the water. In fact, when the Panthers won the Stanley Cup, they partied in Fort Lauderdale. They didn't go through downtown Miami, they went through downtown Fort Lauderdale, and the images of them taking the Stanley Cup into the Atlantic Ocean, partying, you know, on Las Olas, which is like the big party in Fort Lauderdale. So they're more Broward County, you know, northern Miami kind of area. But yeah, it has been, when you think about how the Heat have dropped off the sort of the face of the earth, the Dolphins, who have been irrelevant for more than a generation, the Marlins, enough said, the Miami Hurricanes, who are such a big tease. You think they're gonna, you know, they're sort of like when you're single and you're at the bar and you're just working that person and you're buying drinks and then, all right, here's my number. Sorry, that's the Miami Hurricanes. So to have a team seal the deal like the Florida Panthers and it be a hockey team is unbelievable. They play at, I believe it's at the Marlins baseball stadium at Lone Depot Park. They're going to have an NHL Stadium Series game there in January of 2006. I believe it's the Rangers and the Panthers are going to play a hockey game at the baseball stadium where the Marlins play. That's how big it's grown out here. And they are embracing it in South Florida. They are embracing it. It's wild what they've done. Paul Maurice, the head coach of the Panthers, you know, it's funny. They are banged up, though. That they are a big physical team. That's why they just literally impose their wills on their opponents, Kate. Nico Mikkola, who scored 2 goals in Game 3, he's questionable tonight. Sam Reinhart missed Game 3, scoring a goal in Game 3 last night. I don't know if they're going to play. There is some conventional wisdom. You should just lose a game. You never want to do that. But man, and Carolina is the dog. They're dog in Sunrise tonight. It's the Panthers laying 1.5 goals on the goal line. Carolina plus 150 on the money line. Florida minus 185. I almost feel they should rest their guys, and if they stumble onto it, because Kate, if they win this game and sweep the series, they could have 11 days off before the Stanley Cup final.
Well, wouldn't that be the way to go then, is try and get the sweep tonight so you do have that 11 days off? Or is that maybe too much of a break? Like 11 days is a long time, where then the conversation, rust versus rest. I mean, we have it for every postseason, whether it's NBA, you know, NHL. But I almost feel like the rust factor would be more prevalent, especially because like Florida went straight from game 7 against the Maple Leafs right into that series. They didn't have any time. I mean, they had a day off. And it didn't like
And
they
that was
were
the
able to
travel
stay
day.
in
Yeah.
rhythm and like carry that momentum into that series where it would almost pros and cons, like how do you weigh those? It would almost concern me having 11 days off, but with all the names that you just mentioned of players that are banged up and have injuries and need some time to get healthy, like that would also be very beneficial to have that time off. So I'm just not sure. Like Carolina, it looks so defeated that like I think they know they're not coming back from this. And Jared, hasn't it been like now 15 games coming into the series? It was 12 straight Eastern Conference playoff games that Carolina has lost. And so, I mean, that goes back years and years. And like for pride's sake, you want to get at least one so that track record doesn't continue. But I don't know if they have it in them based on how dominant Florida's been.
Yeah, the Carolina Hurricanes are turning into the Andy Reid Philadelphia Eagles, keep losing in the championship round and not crossing the finish line. Tell you what, I run MGM. I made this bet today, and even though I live in Florida, I am not a Panther fan. I'm originally from LA. I'm more of an LA Kings guy, but I made this bet today, and I thought it was interesting. Panthers in 5, so they would have to lose tonight and cut in Raleigh. Panthers in 5 plus 350 at BetMGM. I took that bet this morning with injuries, reports that Maurice may rest guys a little bit tonight. And if they happen to win, well, cool. But let's get some rest, get the extra day off, and let's try to finish it up in Raleigh. Panthers are just fearless when it comes to that. Remember, they had a 3-0 lead against the Edmonton Oilers in the Stanley Final last year, lost 3 straight, and ended up winning Game 7. So I don't think it'll get to that, but I would definitely enjoy Panther 5. I have a financial interest in this now, Kate.